Well, I'm out here and now I'm modifying the radiator. So I use my handy dandy little body saw here and I cut the neck off. And then I've got this other, it was a thermostat housing, and it was for there, but I have two. So I have that one, goes in the engine. Got this one, and I cut a notch in it, you can see. So now I'm going to cut a hole in the radiator here. I'm going to get that welded on there. And then it will clear my idler arm. So the radiator can go back on the back side of the rad support and clear the idler arm instead of being in the front, and then that'll give me room for my intercooler to go. So I'm going to make a plug for here, cut the hole in there for that, get that welded on, and then I got this fan from a Chevy Cruze that's going to fit. I'm going to take off the multi-speed controller because I don't need that. I'm just going to run it to there with a big ass relay, and then the computer will trigger that to turn the fan on. And this fan they use even in the same fan for a Cadillac with a 6.2. So that should keep her cool, I'm thinking. So yeah, that's next. So after I get that hole done and the plug made for there, then I'm going to start notching this so it fits this radiator and see what I have to do to mount it on it. And then if I got to put some bungs with bolt holes in them into the radiator for that, I'll do that and get those welded on at the same time as the neck. Well, let's see how this goes and how long it takes. Okay, little disc is made to get welded on there at aluminum. Neck's all notched out, fits. It's nice, perfect, should flow good. And then I made a little strap that bolts from here to there on the fan. And I made this little piece with a little lip on it so you can get it in. It's going to get welded on here, so it'll plug. The fan will plug into that, right? And then up here, I recovered these off a bicycle. These little handlebar brackets. And I drilled and tapped a hole in them, there and there. So those will get welded on. So the fan will just plug in the bottom and bolt on there. And it sits absolutely perfect on this radiator at that height. See, the little stoppers are just touching the edge of the rad. So once I get that all welded on, then I have a functioning radiator. So yeah, that'll be good. Hopefully it keeps it cool. I hope. Well, she's got Deutsch plugs now, so then now I can loom this all up, and then that'll be nice and neat on both sides. And yeah, headlights just plug into those babies now. A bunch of those other wires are going to go away, but lots of it's going to be loomed up and come back up the front. But now it's out of the way for this anyways, so I can carry on putting stuff together and everything's out of the way. Didn't have to cut any wires. Well, I cut them to put them in the plugs, but I don't have to reconnect anything. They just all plugs together now. Simple. All I have to do is the factory little plug holes there. I got to make them bigger so the plugs will slide through. But that's pretty minor. Oh, and I got for my steam lines on the engine there, comes up and goes into this tank. It's attached on there. So that's done. And yeah, I guess power steering hose next. Get that hooked to the back of the pump and the return line hooked, and then they're out of the way and done, because it's going to be hard to do that with the headers in there. And yeah, tomorrow I'm going to weld this all up and get the mounts for that made and get all that back in there. So She's coming. It's gonna go fast now, I think. Should. The Holley Terminator X system's ordered, so hopefully it gets here soon, so I can figure out where all those lines run and what or wires run and where I mount the computer and all that stuff. And now my main power, it used to come in on this side of, well, because the battery was here, so it was there. Now it's all going to come up that side of the car because the computer is going to be behind the firewall. So I got to run the computer as dedicated wires go to the battery. It's going to be in the trunk, so I'm going to run the main power cable down that side too, so it'll come up this side. Should be good. So that's enough for today. See if I get anything done tomorrow. I don't know, but we'll see. I got a busy day tomorrow. Yeah, wheels are off. Made some room. Well, I had to take them off to get the battery tray out because the bolts were in behind there. And to get this fuel pressure regulator off. Because it's bolted through the back and you couldn't get in there with the tires on. So get that out of the way. Yeah, she's coming now. There you have it. Power steering lines are all hooked up and done. So, yeah, it's a hair long, but it stays out of the way from everything that way. And it was free. I had 2 of them. I got those years ago. Some kind of high pressure braided stainless hose. You got them at garage sale. Two that size and 1 long one. I don't know what they were for. Looked them up on the internet and it says they're good for 2250 psi, so yeah, should be good. And then got the things welded on the radiator, the bungs there, and the bottom piece is welded on, and the necks are changed. That one's blocked off, so the rad's ready. Now what I gotta do is take this module thing off because I don't need it, and then put a plug on here so that I can make it removable. And yeah, I'll solder a plug to this, then clean this fan up and bolt it back on. I just test fit it when I brought it home, and then that'll be good. And then what? Oh yeah, the mounts for the radiator, put them in the rad support. Then I can start figuring out other stuff like if the intercooler is going to fit and all that nice stuff. But it should start going pretty quick now, as long as I work on it. Depends how much overtime I work. But yeah, accomplished a lot this weekend. It's really coming now. Pretty happy. Look at that. 102 millimeter. Woo! She'll suck some air there.